Hi everyone, my name is Kenny McIntosh and welcome to the questions that you most want answered. It is Tuesday afternoon right now when we're recording this. I had to stay up and watch Raw and then podcast after it, so I'm very tired. But I am here with my two favourite people from England, not from in life. James Dixon.
I can't believe you're tired after watching Raw.
Resident historian James Dixon, which means that you remember when stuff was really, really good.
Still good now. I enjoyed Raw. Power of positivity.
He's been paid to say that. And Jack the Jober.
You never introduced me by my real name, do you?
Well, I thought you wanted to be introduced as your character.
Think about your Twitter followers.
I don't want to think about them.
You want to make sure you want to make sure you're still over with your Twitter people.
Most of them are fine. Love most of them. Most of them are the best fans ever.
Are they?
Some of them are horrible. One or two.
Most of them mean well.
Yeah.
Until they start asking for your address. And
and it's not that stuff. It's the haters. Hashtag haters back off.
what? To be fair, have you got a Twitter that's named after you called F Kenny He's a Twat?
No.
And then you block him, and then he makes another one called F Kenny He's a Twat 2.0. Jack, this
Yes.
is your show. Questions you most want answered.
In a way.
You've asked us to be here. James has got a tea or a coffee loaded with sugar, I'm sure. And I have a water. And you have questions.
I do. That's the only nourishment I need.
As usual, the segue is absolutely wonderful.
Thanks, mate.
This show gets better every week.
Well, you're here. Why wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
Should we
crack on?
kick straight on?
Well, see,
Right.
Question one.
I start these thinking you're going to go, right, I'm going to take the lead now.
No, I'm not confident enough for that at all.
Right, okay. I'm just
Right.
going to shut up. It's up to you.
Question one, but there's no Twitter handle for you to sort of pick apart this time.
Well, what's the point?
Because there's various people who've asked this one, so I just thought no one person can take credit.
He's made it up.
Who's gonna win this year's Money in the Bank ladder match?
It's a good question. And there's a lot of contenders this year, I think. More so than ever, there's a lot of guys who are coming through who have a good chance.
I think there's two.
Two, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Rollins?
I think it's Kevin
Rollins.
Owens. I think it's Kevin Owens and Cesaro.
Oh.
Cesaro's a good shout. I mean, but then you've got Apollo Crews. They're pushing him pretty well. Or they want to push him to the next level, maybe. He looks good. Vince likes guys who look good.
He does.
You know, it might be the least predictable outcome. And you know how they are sometimes about if things are predictable, they like to change them.
Even to the detriment of long-term
Even to the
plans,
detriment of booking plan. Absolutely.
Maybe a long shot could be the return of Cody Rhodes, not Stardust.
I'd love that.
I don't think he's at the level where he'd get Money in the Bank, though.
They're going to give it to Apollo Crews, though.
Yeah, but I mean, Cody Rhodes, what more is that they can do with him? You know, he's been around so long, and they've got this thing at the moment where they're trying to push new, fresh talent, which is brilliant. You know, it's great. Sami Zayn seems like the logical winner to me.
I feel like it's too soon for him because Sami Zayn's whole story is he loses a lot, and he's the underdog, and eventually he gets that victory. And I feel like him just winning Money in the Bank relatively quickly, it's not what I would like to see. I would prefer to see Kevin Owens or a Cesaro, especially because Cesaro kind of...
It should be a face, though, really. Because fans are going to want them to cash in on Reigns. Because Reigns is a heel, whether they like it or not.
Well,
he is a heel.
Well, in that way, Owens is a face. Because
I
think
we live in a strange time.
I don't think anyone would be more entertaining taunting the champion and tormenting him with the briefcase than Kevin Owens.
I agree. I think that'd be great as well. I mean, I think it's probably going to be out of those two. Cesaro, I'd love it to be Cesaro, but can you really see them doing that? Because the Money in the Bank is basically a guarantee of the title, unlthat's you're Damien Sandow.
But I mean, that's...
Yeah, well, he's had it a couple of times as well.
A few years ago, they gave it to Damien Sandow. That was a shock. I think it's Kevin Owens or Cesaro. That's my gut feeling. That's who I would go for.
So really, we're talking, it's probably going to be Sheamus.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Del Rio.
Randy Orton.
Oh, The Miz. Yeah, any of those guys.
The Miz.
I mean, who do you want, Jack? Who do you want it to be? You want it to be Kevin Owens?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if it was someone completely out of left field? If it was Samoa Joe?
Victor. Oh, right.
Good.
Oh,
not
right,
Victor.
Right,
No, not Victor.
Right.
Not Victor. What's the matter with you? I mean,
I went too left field.
Social outcast Victor.
Samoa Joe would be fantastic.
It'd be interesting if it was like, you know, a mystery guy, build up a bit of tension, and who's it going to be? You know, excite the fans thinking about it. And usually in that situation, it's Randy Orton again. But
there's another guy we're not talking
I was just about. Did that remind you as well when he said?
Well, I was hoping one of you would mention it, so I didn't throw them all.
Should we say it at the same time?
1, 2, 3.
Victor,
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor.
That's a real,
yeah, Finn Balor would be a great
or
choice.
as you like to call him, Finn Balor.
No, Ross calls him Finn Balor. I call him Balor. Or Sometimes I call him Fergal because I'm just right smarky. No, I don't.
He does.
Or Prince.
Prince.
It's a tribute, you know. 'Cause everyone cares about Prince now. No one cared
Yeah.
about Prince for like a decade, but everyone cares.
Oh.
I cared about Prince.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, well,
No, you didn't.
have you heard Black Sweat?
I don't know what that is.
That's one of his songs that he did a
Sounds
couple
made
years
up
ago.
to me. So, you know, Finn,
Can we
do you
just,
not
can
think...
we just like
no,
play a bit of Black
let's...
Sweat in right now, just so that we know that I am actually a Prince fan. But oh, did you know, just quickly, do you know what really annoys me is I get that like Prince, people loved him, or China, people loved her, or whatever, and they go on Facebook or Twitter and say, I'm really sad that this person has died. But it's these celebrity grievers. They're like, oh my God, another one's died. How am I going to live? It's like, you're not related to them. Oh my God, Alan Rickman died. He was 70.
That voice is
He was
fantastic.
69.
Yeah.
Everyone's 69 now.
But it's not like
the
he
new
was
thing.
like 24 and you go, oh my, like he had so much time ahead of him. He had a bit of time ahead of him. Anyway,
Should we get back on topic? Thing is, with Finn, do you not think he's going to be there on Sunday?
Yes.
Payback. I think he's going to be the one costing AJ, and
Yes.
you know he's going to team with Bullet Club.
or
Seems
Go
to
on.
make sense.
and I'm stealing this theory directly from David McCutcheon, who does the Raw Reaction with me, because he brought it up and it's kind of been in my head ever since. Maybe what happens is Gallows and Anderson take out Reigns on Sunday and basically give AJ the win, but AJ doesn't want the win that way. So AJ ends up losing the match because he refuses to cheat.
Too noble.
And then either the night after
Interesting.
or shortly thereafter, you do Finn.
Maybe.
That's another way they
Yeah,
can do
yeah,
it.
maybe.
I like
They don't
that
ha-
too.
They don't
Yeah.
have to do it on Sunday.
Because AJ's not winning.
No.
No.
He's not winning the title.
But interestingly
There's
enough,
no way.
they
But that's a
did-
good way of doing it.
They did do, last night. They did something I thought was quite interesting. If you guys picked up on it, when Michael Cole mentioned that Samoa Joe had won the NXT Championship, he didn't mention who he beat for it,
Right.
and that is WWE are not subtle. So
No,
like, when they
no,
don't
no,
say
no.
something or they do say
Yeah, it
something,
means
there's a
something.
reason for
Yeah,
it. So
absolutely.
I feel like them not saying Finn Balor is because they don't want you thinking his name.
He's imminent. He has to be.
Well,
Yeah.
all this sort of brings me around to our next question.
Sure.
Happily. It's from, again, there's no Twitter handle, I'm sorry. It's from various people.
Just taking all the
Just
glory
said-
for yourself.
Well, a
isn't
few
it?
people asked, what do I think the SummerSlam card's going to be? A few people said, what do you guys think the big summer plans are?
Do you
So I'll
remember
just-
one of their names?
No. So I'll just frame it this way.
Right.
What do we think? Let's say the big two summer angles are going to be.
The obvious one's Reigns and Lesnar. I think a lot of people think that Reigns is going to go over Lesnar, make up for WrestleMania last year. You know, it's inevitable that's going to happen. The whole point of putting Brock over Taker in the first place all those years ago, 2 years ago now, you know, was to eventually build him as the guy that Reigns would beat. And Vince is stubborn. He's going to go with his plan, whether it's at the time or many years later. He's going to follow it through in the end and do the thing that he wanted to do. And it's going to backfire, you know, but at the same time, Reigns gets booed now anyway. They're a little bit more accepting of that fact, and maybe it's not the worst thing. He's going to get booed regardless, so you might as well put him over.
I just don't want to be.
I'm gonna disagree
Okay.
with Mr. Dixon here. I think the big summer angle is the Shield and the Balor Club.
Oh,
That's what I
okay.
think it is. I think what they're going to do is
I hope you're right.
they're going to
I
go
hope
in,
you're not.
they're
I
going
hope
to
you're
go in
right.
with the idea that they want, here's my prediction, they're going to go in with the idea that the Shield will rejuvenate Roman Reigns. That'll be the way to get him over as a babyface, the final chance. And then what they'll probably do is they'll probably have Dean Ambrose turn heel on Roman Reigns after it, and that will fail as well. And people will cheer Ambrose over him. And only at that point might they kind of go, right, maybe we need to change it. Or
But in the
do something
storyline,
different.
why does he need Rejuvenate as the champion?
Because
Why would he want to be with those guys? He's doing quite well on his own. You know, in kayfabe terms,
Well,
I mean,
if Balor Club are beating him down every week, he might.
you'd have to lose the belt.
He
Though.
might need a call.
You'd have to lose the belt before you do that. And then, can you see him losing the belt?
Maybe if they did maybe if at Money in the Bank, obviously there's not two titles anymore. Instead of doing just the one match for the briefcase, they do a briefcase match and a match for the belt, and
Yeah.
Roman can lose it that way, and he doesn't have to
You
get
just have to
pinned.
lose, right?
See, I theorized this on Twitter on an episode of Fast Count, and it got a major Twitter backlash.
Right.
I said Roman Reigns will definitely still be champion in this reign until at least SummerSlam.
It's a good shout.
I
mean,
would
it's-
expect so.
for them. I think that's very likely, but there is a couple of possibilities. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening in the next couple of months. Cena's back on May 30th. Seth Rollins is going to be back soon. Randy Orton's going to be back, whether we like it or not.
Great.
The Balor Club are going to be there. There's AJ, there's Sami Zayn, there's Kevin Owens. There's a lot of stuff going on.
It's gonna be a
So,
lot of good cards. Gonna be a lot of good shows.
yeah, a lot of fresh matches.
Yeah.
But I think the key for Roman Reigns, if he does go back with the Shield, is the Usos have to kind of just you know, take a bye, just
dear.
go away free will. But interestingly enough, I think it will be fascinating to see what happens with Seth Rollins returns, because he is going to get a monster babyface reaction,
Yeah.
and they're either going to try and squash it straight away so he doesn't compete with Roman Reigns,
Which won't work.
which won't work,
No.
or it's just going to get worse. I mean, I was listening to Dave Meltzer earlier today, and he'd mentioned, which I saw this in Glasgow, and I wasn't really going to bring it up because I didn't want to be a negative Nancy, but people were leaving at the Glasgow show during the main event, which was
Just 'cause
Roman
it
Reigns
was
and
Roman
Sheamus.
Reigns.
Yeah, because I
Did it run late though? Or?
No.
Mm.
I had somebody tweet me and they said, I'm leaving, don't need to see Reigns win again.
It's just a foregone conclusion.
And somebody tweeted the guy back saying, you know, that's ridiculous that you've paid all this money for a ticket and now you're leaving. And he said, well, I saw him win in Dallas, and that wasn't exciting, so this isn't going to be exciting. And the guy's not bad in the ring, it's just nobody cares. And there's nothing worse than that. People apparently were leaving last night during Raw in the main event because it was Del Rio and Reigns. So
Well, he's not over at the level of a main event guy. You know, he was over to a degree.
nobody left during
No
Cena
one believes
matches.
him. No one buys him as, in that role.
Cena matches.
No,
Well,
because Cena, you're always guaranteed he's going to be entertaining. You know, booing him's entertaining as well. So, you know, it's similar
And
but
he
different.
handles it
Cena.
very well. Like John Cena,
Yeah, Reigns doesn't.
for better or for, I mean, I've never agreed with the way that they handled the John Cena boos, you know, doing the whole "I'm here to entertain you, whatever you feel about me." But at least Cena acknowledged it, and Cena would, you know, there was that famous night, the night after WrestleMania 29, where Cena came out after beating The Rock, and he just got. If you're listening to this, you can't see it, but
Yeah.
he started moving his foot, and people were like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "Just turning my heel."
Yeah.
That's
God.
great.
Yeah, it is quite good, to be fair.
But yeah, Roman Reigns,
He's doing it a little bit better recently, though. Reigns. They
He
are
has been.
acknowledging it more.
Yeah,
and
well, they
it's-
have
it's been
to.
well, they do have to. I mean, how long can you be blind to it? They've tried doing that for a year, and it obviously hasn't worked. It's backfired. Like everyone, but they knew it would.
But there's a couple of things they've done the last couple of weeks which have made me very surprised at the company. Like, I didn't think they would put AJ Styles in a pay-per-view main event for the title straight away. That shows that there is a difference in thought processes. And also, last night on Raw, they had that excellent video package for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Oh yeah, phenomenal.
Which is usually reserved for the likes of Undertaker, Triple H,
Yeah,
Undertaker,
yeah.
Brock Lesnar. So the fact that two current guys are getting that is a big step forward. So there's positivity
So
to be
we're
had.
cautiously optimistic for the summer.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
look at the talent on that roster.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
it's as good as it's ever been, really. And
Look at now, everybody's. So many people are tweeting me and
Throughout
stuff talking
as
about how
well.
excited they are about Payback.
yeah.
People say it's
Yeah.
more
Well,
exciting
it
than
looks like a
WrestleMania.
great card.
It does look
Yeah,
like
Hell of
the
a
build-up's
card,
great.
yeah.
All the matches have a good build.
I mean, there's actually a storyline for the first time in forever. Like AJ, you know, he's got a storyline. There's intrigue going into it, and I mean, all the build up for WrestleMania, the storylines were just they didn't make any sense. You know, it was
They were
illogical.
rushed, yeah.
Yeah, very rushed, and obviously there was reasons for that with the injuries. But with this, it feels like they've sat down and planned it out and are getting to a logical conclusion. It's much better.
And
much
even
better.
even the stuff with, you know, Vince is going to be there to decide who's running Raw. If you take into account the Undertaker Shane finish and the fact that it's not really made sense since
Yeah, well,
Shane's
if you
ran.
ignore that happened,
But if you ignore that, like, that's an intrigue. People are going to tune in to see Vince come out, and I think he's going to come out and do something where he gives both of them a shot.
I think there's a possibility it's going to be Raw and SmackDown again.
Yeah.
Right.
I hope it's not.
Well, let's change. Sorry to cut that off because that was really good, but we are
Sure.
of course,
Thanks,
pressed
Jack.
for time. It's all right.
Sure, sure.
I'm going to change topic slightly. It's still about the current product, but it's actually a question that you indirectly brought from. You got a tweet from, I believe, you got a tweet from at only1pk, who linked you to an interview.
His name was Paul, I think.
Paul. Big shout out to Paul. Do you think it's Mr. Levesque in disguise? Anyway, he
Yeah, he always tweets.
He's got
me.
better things to do.
yeah. Then this show.
Sorry.
He linked you to a Bret Hart article.
Yeah, there was a Bret Hart article that
An
I hadn't
interview
read.
with
from-
Knots TV. I'll just throw that in there so that.
No, yeah, Bret was over in the UK and he made a point of talking about how he was very upset that WrestleMania featured Shane McMahon in a featured match. You know, he's the 46-year-old son of the
Fair
promoter.
enough as well.
He's not really a wrestler.
Right.
Triple H is the son-in-law. He's in the main event. And he's talking about all these young guys and these guys that are on the road every week. It's not something that nobody's said before. CM Punk was very angry about it.
Sure.
But and then he said, I have no desire to be at Payback.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'll be there just to...
It's a spot natty, right?
But what do you think about Brett sort of bringing that up and sort of been, I guess, the only legend really to sort of just say what he thinks.
I mean,
about
Mick Foley sort of does, and Steve Austin does when he's not under their radar, when he's on his own podcast rather than doing it on their TV and their network. But Bret's never been a guy who's going to play ball with them, and Vince understands that as well, and understands that there was a lot of heat there for a long time, and it's never going to be completely healed. And Bret's always he's getting old, he's curmudgeonly now. He likes to have more so now. And what he's saying isn't unfair, but the truth is he doesn't like the people in charge. He doesn't like Hunter. He's always going to have that issue with Vince of not fully trusting him and never really forgiving him. And, there's a lot of water under that particular bridge, so he's always going to speak his mind. And they'll keep using him because he's Bret Hart, and Vince doesn't want to have heat with the guy again, I think they're both sort of beyond wanting to have heat anymore, but Bret's just going to say what he feels. And he's right for the most part as well.
I'd say he's right, but it's quite... I agree with him, but at the same time, it's not feasible at the minute to do it completely the other way and have all the emphasis on the current guys. You know what I mean? There needs to be...
Apart from that's the fact they are actually doing that now.
They're slowly doing it. I don't think it can be as immediate as... Because whenever someone brings it up, they're like, this is a disgrace, WrestleMania should have been... And WrestleMania was probably a really bad example of it because you had The Rock come out and he probably got paid a lot for that.
Sadly didn't set himself on fire.
Poor Rock.
I know. What's your problem with Dwayne?
You really want me to tell you my problem with
No, we don't.
But I think the worst part of it for me was Shane, because as much as I thought he was great for stepping in when they needed him, and he jumped off the top of the cell. I mean, that's the most iconic wrestling moment I've ever seen live.
Not a wrestling moment.
The best sports entertainment moment I've ever seen live.
I would disagree with you. I think Triple H was the problem, because Shane, for all the faults of the angle and the faults of the way they played it out, Shane and Undertaker was the draw to that WrestleMania.
Well,
that's true.
So
I mean, that is true.
That is,
and coming out of it, Shane now runs Raw,
yeah,
which has made it feel a lot more fresh.
Well, I was going to say, my main problem with it was the fact that Shane was sort of... The match was weird. We all thought there were going to be loads of run-ins. Yeah. Shane took Undertaker to a match. Like, imagine if Shane and Undertaker had got into a bit of an in-ring confrontation during the Attitude Era. Everyone would have been expecting a 5-minute squash, maybe less.
Don't know. Shane used to win a lot in the Attitude Era. A lot.
But by Big Show getting involved or by cheating.
Yeah. There was help.
In that match, he just had a fight with Undertaker, and they looked kind of evenly matched. Like, Shane was the underdog. Yeah. But I kind of had to really suspend my disbelief, because I thought everything I've been taught since I started being a wrestling fan is that Undertaker's one of the hardest men to beat.
Yeah, he's invincible, basically.
And now Shane, I know he's older now, but Shane's older now, and now Shane's taking...
And he's not a wrestler.
He's taking this 20-minute
just a guy,
match.
Yeah.
He's not a good guy. He's not a bad guy.
But to be
just the guy. Yeah.
To be fair to Shane, like, I think Shane and Undertaker was the draw of WrestleMania. Coming out of it, it's been the best part of the show in terms of Shane running it. Whereas with Triple H, like, let's take it back. Royal Rumble, Triple H comes out, he annihilates everybody, chucks Roman Reigns out, does the one big baby face thing, crotch chop. He's the baby face from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania, essentially. He comes out with a badass leather jacket on.
No one's going to boo him then.
Looks suave. Awesome. Nobody's... So Triple H is partially responsible for what Roman Reigns is going through right now.
He's also responsible for getting him over at TLC.
For one night.
One night,
yeah. And then... Sadly, that didn't continue. But I mean, I don't think Triple H is fully to blame for that. I think they didn't like him anyway. But it is a problem. They did have a lot of injuries, so you could say, what else were they going to do?
They were just plugging the gaps.
But the bigger problem is that they didn't. So, for example, when Seth Rollins got injured and they had the Tournament Survivor Series, they had the chance to do something quite fresh with that, and they didn't.
They did nothing.
Well, they gave it to Sheamus, which I have nothing against Sheamus.
Well, they gave it to Reigns.
Reigns and then Sheamus, yeah. But I think Sheamus is fine, but...
I think he's appalling. I think he's absolutely the most tedious wrestler on the roster.
Wow. I think there's worse.
I'd rather watch Eva Marie matches. At least you're going to see something amusing in them when she falls over or something. But
well, if Sheamus is in there with somebody really good...
She did. I was getting that in there.
If Sheamus is in there with somebody really good, I think it works. The stiff match style works. But if he's in there...
What more can he do? I've seen him do everything against everybody.
I feel...
Yeah, he can't carry a match with somebody.
I feel about Sheamus like... I kind of feel bad for him because he's a mid-carder who's been pushed too high.
Yeah,
I think.
And he's Reigns, but
Sheamus 5'15".
Era. So yeah, basically.
5'15". I think when he's being a slightly comedic heel, he can say some funny stuff. Do you remember on that show when he won the title, but halfway through he was teaming with the New Day, and he went, the lads in the New Day are going to get jiggy on you posers. That was hilarious. Little did I know that 2 hours later he'd be holding the the belt aloft.
Yes,
but
I think he is quite funny. Like he's got some comedy in him. But I think the thing is, with that tournament, there was an opportunity to push somebody new or to do something different or to give Kevin Owens something. There was all these opportunities and that didn't happen, and that detrimented WrestleMania. But
The problem is you've got to go back further. The real problem with WrestleMania wasn't the booking in the couple of months beforehand. It's the booking in the whole year beforehand. And in the years, they haven't got new guys over for a long, long time. Not properly. And the guys they do get over, Cesaro and Ambrose, they tend to just, bury them back to the mid-card.
The guys that get over are not the guys they want to go over.
Right.
they're kind of paying for it now. But
Yeah, well, they did.
But they're handling it surprisingly well. They're bringing this new talent forwards, as you said at the start of the
Yeah, well, they've reacted as everyone thinks they should have years ago, but,
at least they're doing it.
At least they're doing it.
Because
So
if they're not, then it would be sort of the way.
I'm nothing but positive about what's happened in the last couple of weeks.
It's been great.
It's been brilliant. It's exactly what everybody's been asking for. So there's nothing to complain about. Yeah,
I can't remember the
apart
last.
from the Miz.
I can't remember the last time there was, because how many Raws has there been since WrestleMania?
4, I think.
I can't remember the last time there was 4 Raws in a row, but I enjoyed them.
No.
And I went back and watched parts of them. Like
It
last night,
seemed to have a direction. the
Ambrose
whole-
and Jericho
whole way.
last night. That was excellent.
Yeah, really good.
Jericho was. I mean, Jericho's just great when he's a heel.
Sandow won a match, sort of.
Well,
I'm joking about you.
Well-
No, it was a very good.
Dolph
it was a good-
Ziggler seemed interesting. He attacked Baron Corbin. He did
I'm
something
always a
interesting.
fan of Ziggler, man.
You're a fan of Kalisto.
I get a
Nobody
lot
believes you.
of office stick for that.
Oh, Kalisto's on the kickoff show again against Ryback. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, not
happy?
not enthused.
Not enthused?
It's not Kalisto's fault. It's the booking's fault.
what have they done at that belt? I mean, what a waste.
Let's
It
just
used
get-
to
let's
be
just-
Rollins and Cena. And
Let's just get Cena back. Get Cena to get the belt off of Kalisto.
Just carry on with that.
and just
Yeah,
go back to
US Challenge was great.
Yeah. Right, we'll move on to some. We've got 2 timeless questions.
Did we even
for the
answer that one?
half of the- Yeah, we kind of did.
Okay,
For the it's not a question you can really answer.
I guess not.
It's a
Um,
discussion, James.
Right.
These ones are more straightforward. At JK Hearn, at Jake Hearns, JK Earns or Jake Hearns? I don't know. At Jake Hearns 99.
Can't read your
Who
handwriting.
says
cares?
no.
Just read the
Uh,
question.
He says.
Jay Kearns cares.
Kearns.
This is his moment of glory.
I've had people.
Or hers.
I've had people tweet me afterwards
Sorry,
saying,
Jay.
saying thanks for giving me a shout out on
Oh, yeah?
questions you must have
Yeah,
answered.
but
Yeah.
the first 2 questions, the first 3 questions, you haven't even bothered.
Paul was the third
You
question.
didn't know his name was Paul.
At
You just
Jane.
wrote his
He-
handle.
And it's someone he knows. Get on with it.
At Jake Hearns.
I
I
don't
can't
know.
believe it. I just. This is it descends into
farce.
more of a farce every single
At
week.
Jake Hearns 99.
You'd think
Adam
your-
Blampier
you think
hosts
your
this
reading
much
skills
better
would
than you,
improve?
Jack.
Are you 2 definitely drinking water and tea respectively?
says
There's no
this every
vodka
week,
and
doesn't
whiskey.
he?
Imagine if we were drinking something.
It'd be more entertaining.
You're rubbish.
It'd be like loose women. Right, at Jake Hearns 99 says, what is your favourite finishing move ever? We'll go to you first because you panicked. I saw that.
No offense to Jay Earns, I hate these.
Jake Earns.
I hate these questions because I can't answer it. Like I can't give you one answer that I'm always gonna have. It's
Oh,
one of
those
those-
there's always
things.
one,
It'll
isn't it?
change all the time.
Always one.
No,
my,
like,
but my,
I'm
my
just saying
two.
one.
All right, but my 2 that always for me stand above the rest
Like Drop of Doom.
are the Tombstone Pile Driver
Right,
and the Sharpshooter.
right.
They're my 2 that I really like.
And a nice variety there. You've got a
Submission,
submission and a driver.
and a driver.
Yeah, I don't know what that falls under, but yeah. It's the Tombstone Power Driver.
Offense.
I disagree.
Right.
I think they're both iconic finishes, but not particularly good finishes.
That's why I
I
like
think the Sharpshooter is. When it's executed by Bret Hart, not The Rock.
Right, okay. It's been bastardized by others, you know, but Brett's version, yeah. The Tombstone, the problem with the Tombstone is when Taker was working guys like Giant Gonzalez and Bundy and
Couldn't do it.
Kamala couldn't do it on any of them, so it was moot. It was
But see when you
You
look
know.
at his early Tombstones, and he used to do. You wouldn't know this because you were
like
I thought you were
12-year-old or
alive.
something.
He wasn't
I've
alive
watched
in
the
91.
old.
You
I
alive
wasn't.
in
No,
91?
I was born in October '92.
Right.
Disgrace before the first Taker match at WrestleMania. It's just you can't
Disgusting,
comprehend
isn't it?
He wasn't alive for SummerSlam '92.
And he's leading
I
it.
hate it.
So, but
I hate you, Jack.
But do you remember on Wrestling Challenge, Undertaker would have the jobber matches, and he would like nail
He'd
the
drill
guys
him.
into the ground, and you'd
Yeah.
just be like, "How is that?" And he was safe. He wasn't.
Oh yeah,
He was,
and he used to do it over the shoulder as well,
Mhm.
rather than in the middle back then.
I think the
Ran the
Tombstone-
69
I've
drop.
seen when
you
he
know?
did the, when he did the 3 to Kane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They get a
WrestleMania
bit hairy.
14.
I'm like,
right?
whoa, because Kane's legs are like swaying
But
about.
he's so
You're like,
big.
Whoa, yeah,
he's
yeah,
so
yeah.
big 'cause you've got to lift him right the way up. But
Mm.
see, I would choose for this the Stunner because I think Jack was going to pick it, and
I
now he's
was.
going to be struggling
was.
for an answer. But also because how effective is that move?
Wait a minute. You're giving me into trouble because the moves that I pick have been bastardized.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Springboard Stunner?
Yes, I have.
He didn't
Now,
get all of it.
I won't count that
you won't.
because
You
it
can-
wasn't a finisher for one, and it was a springboard, so it was technically a different move. I
Oh,
prefer to refer
good
to.
God,
Listen,
this is a sham.
it was a springboard ace
Absolute
crusher,
sham.
is what it was.
Jack, take control of your show.
Do you know who came up with the stunner?
Ace Steel.
Look at this guy,
What?
Ace Steel.
No, hang on. No, wait. I'll have a proper guess. Who came up with the stunner?
He's actually
DDP.
No,
Right.
he's
That's
not.
a cutter.
He's not quite related to Cena yet, but he will be. The guy who
Who
came
is
up
it?
with it.
Johnny Ace.
That's who I meant, not Ace.
Of course
I
you
always,
did.
I always mix those two
Who's
up.
Johnny
I
Ace,
always
Jack?
mix those two up. Johnny Ace, trainer.
Is he?
No,
Don't
he's
know.
not.
No, is that Ace Steel? Ace Steel's the trainer.
Do you not know who Johnny Ace is?
Oh, it's John Lauren. It is. It's John Laurinaitis.
What were you going to call him?
John Laurinaitis.
Lauren, no.
Well, no, just because I
No, no,
started
no,
to say
no,
it and
no,
he
no,
turned
no,
around. It's John Laurinaitis.
Yes, it is John Laurinaitis. So
I was panicking.
Wait.
No, I
So
knew
John
that.
Laurinaitis-
Is Ace Steel the Chicago guy?
I don't know. It sounds like
Ace
someone you
Steel's
made
the one
up.
who trained like
John
Colt Cabana and
Laurinaitis.
CM Punk in there.
Right.
Yeah, John
Yes,
Laurinaitis.
I've got it.
John
I've got it.
Laurinaitis used to be in a tag team called the Dynamic Dudes. Who?
That's not when he came up with
was,
it, though.
no, but who was his tag team partner in WCW as the Dynamic
He
Dudes?
works for us.
Sorry, he
You
works for us.
heard.
For WhatCulture?
That's right.
Well, I mean, I was going to say Bob Holly, but I've got no idea.
In WCW.
You know, seen
On
Bob Holly down the
WCW,
back?
I can't think of a wrestler. Well, Dinsmore did a. It's not Dinsmore.
Remember when we-
WCW.
Remember when we were in WrestleCon and I went away to have a wee chat with somebody?
Oh, what, Shane Douglas?
There he is.
Oh, right.
There you go, brought it back.
But that's not where he came. He came up with it in Japan, though, when he was teaming with Dr. Death, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Death, Steve
Panic there,
Williams.
you both just tear me apart.
But what happened is he sent a video in to Michael Hayes, and Michael Hayes saw the move and was like, "Oh, it's a good move." And he went to Austin and said, "Oh, I've got a new finish for you. Do you want to try this?" Which was the Ace Crusher, which turned into Stunner. And
Yeah.
Austin added the kick. You know, how.
It's a weird story.
But you can do it on anybody. And is there ever been a move that's more over that gets such a reaction every single time? I don't think so.
It's weird when you see the early sell-ins. Do you remember the King of the Ring tournament '96?
Yeah.
Austin does the stunner on, I think it's
Mark
on Mero,
Mero,
and
yeah.
he like holds his neck.
Yeah.
and he's-
Because it's like,
See, look at this
people
knowledge.
don't know how to
Yeah,
sell
you're
it.
both laughing at me. I know King of the Ring '96.
You use your network
who did he beat in the
subscriptions, don't you?
final?
What?
Who did he beat in the final?
Jake Snake Roberts.
Who did he beat in the quarterfinal?
That's
Oh,
not-
Mark
that's
Mero.
not
The
unfair.
quarterfinal was the semis Mark Mero.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it wasn't on the show,
Right.
so it's fine.
Who did he beat then?
But
I like it. It's not the show. doesn't
it's
count.
not the show.
It was on Raw. Who
Yeah.
cares?
I'll have a guess.
Okay.
Savio Vega.
You know, 1 point to you,
Was it?
maybe.
Oh, come
It
on.
was Savio.
I can't believe that.
Knowledge, ladies and gentlemen.
That was the same day that match was taped. Was the same day that he was given the stunner.
Right.
But I don't think he won with the stunner because it hadn't been
remember
cleared
that.
yet as his finisher by Vince.
Oh.
So
So
I
I
think
just
he
say,
won with
Sam,
the-
if you cut that out,
I'm-
I'll never forgive
I'm
you. 'cause that was
amazed.
that was
Yeah,
amazing.
honestly, like, let's give the guy some credit. He's good at his job.
Thank you.
Okay.
Right, well,
we're not because we're going to run miles
shall we
over.
move, I
here,
was
so-
going to say, should we move on to the last question?
Also, the stunner had a lot of good counters to it. which
No,
was
there's no
good.
time. Yeah, there is. That's a good point. The last
Alright,
question.
you get a Savio Vega question
the
right
last-
now. You're ruling the world.
Now, the last Twitter handles are always the most entertaining I found because we had Creamy Adventure last week. This week we've got
Don't put him over
we've got
again.
at Spookiest Dude.
Oh, I like him.
Ooh, you
What,
like
what makes him
Spookiest Dude?
the spookiest
I
of all
don't
the
know.
dudes?
Don't know.
Can I make a suggestion? See, when you put these names down, why not put the name of the person rather than the handle?
Sometimes there's like swear words in the real one. Or like,
Oh,
yeah, or,
no.
like offensive
Oh
stuff.
gosh, mom.
We're not allowed to swear in podcasts.
Yeah, right.
So-
you said twat at the start.
Oh,
Sorry,
Sam.
Sam.
Sorry again.
You can say that.
He's
No, it's-
Scottish. It's
You're not allowed to say that.
I
Listen,
don't-
it's got to be say the C word.
Spooky
so
I don't doubt it.
just be glad.
Spookiest Dude says, who would you put on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling? Now, Mount Rushmore, as
Jesus.
Mr. Adam Cleary, who's not on camera, he pointed out to me the other day that Mount Rushmore is actually the Founding Fathers. We're not going to do the Founding Fathers. We're going to do what people think of as the Mount Rushmore, like the four
right.
sort of most iconic figures of
So if
wrestling.
it was the founding fathers, you're looking at all the NWA guys,
Yes.
or even before that, you're looking at
Some
the
1920s
guys from
carnival guys.
well before that, the 1800s.
The
You know,
Greek,
guys.
you're
like
looking at ancient Greece.
don't push it, but no, you're looking at guys like Farmer Burns and Hackenschmidt and guys like that, but guys you don't know.
I love the
That's
idea. I
okay.
love the idea of what was happening in your mind when he said Farmer Burns.
I know.
I feel like you
know.
thought The Simpsons.
I
feel
thought
that's-
giant haystacks, to be honest with you.
Oh, man. But no, it's a good question. It's a tough one though. Right? Jack, you go first because we need to think on this.
I'll go Hogan. Have I gone too recent there with that immediately?
No, man, it's your
I've gone
your call. isn't it?
mine. I'll go Hogan, Austin.
Justifications.
Well, Hogan was largely he was the wrestler most responsible for the WWF, for the boom, for WrestleMania,
Yeah,
and all the rest.
for the
of it.
WWF boom. Yeah,
He was the first wrestling star. He was the first
that's not true.
globally. He was the first one of that scale.
First
That's not true.
international.
Right.
WWF.
Probably the first international guy. Yeah.
I'll go Hogan,
Okay. to a degree.
One of Hart or Michaels, but I'm not sure which one.
I wouldn't pick either personally.
I need it when you work out this is Mount Rushmore of wrestling or.
Well, what's a
I've
thought?
got mine. Do you want me to do mine?
No, I'll just quickly do it. Oh, sorry, Hogan. This is going to be unpopular, but Hogan, Austin, Bret, and Cena.
Mine's is not too far off from that.
Right.
But mine's is not. My Mount Rushmore is not, my favourites, but it's just
No,
who
no,
I
not
think
mine
would be
either,
on the
no,
Mount
no.
Rushmore. My 4 would be San Martino,
Yeah, okay.
because for WWE Mount Rushmore, he started
I think we're just doing WWE one, yeah.
San Martino.
Not Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. Knowledge again.
He was only there 10 minutes.
Um,
He was retiring.
Yeah.
San
near enough by
Martino,
then.
he retired. They had to bring him back.
I might change one of mine.
He was massive. Then it was Hogan. I mean, Hogan, for what anybody says about him, I don't think they could have done
No.
WrestleMania and made it international. without him.
You can't doubt Hogan's.
And he never gets enough
impacts.
credit for. I mean, he gets credit for what he did, but like without him,
Yeah.
Vince would never have made it to what he
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's true.
So I think he needs to be there. Austin, I think Austin goes in there over Rock because Rock was a product of an era that Austin made successful. I don't think Shawn Michaels belongs anywhere on it.
No.
And
I
I
would-
don't-
As much as I would say Sean's probably the greatest in-ring performer of
Yeah,
all
yeah.
time, but
yeah.
I don't think he belongs on this particular
And then I think the
round.
last one is Cena, only because Cena is the guy in the last 10 years that has kind of kept a level of interest. His matches are feel the biggest, and I think without him, a lot of people would have stopped watching.
So we've gone.
That's my 4.
We've gone San Martino, Hogan, Austin, and Cena.
Yeah.
We've gone Hogan, Bret, Austin, Cena.
Hogan and Austin, I absolutely agree with.
Yeah.
I don't see how you can't have Vince on there, though.
Okay.
Surely.
I thought we were just having wrestlers.
But it
didn't-
depends.
you didn't
I didn't
Specify
specify.
it.
That was my
Specify.
fault. Yeah, go on.
If
Yeah,
it's just
Vince.
wrestlers, if it's just WWE, it's a little bit harder. But surely Ric Flair should be on there somewhere.
Okay.
But then you can go back even further for the great NWA champions. So it's almost an impossible question, and
Yeah,
it
it
just becomes a case of pick the guys you like the most,
Just for fun, innit?
or the guys who had the most influence. But the guys who had the most influence on the WWF and WWE, it's got to be Hogan, Austin. It has to be Vince.
Right.
And I don't think Cena. I think Cena's been. I like Cena, but I think he's been pushed far beyond the level that he actually is. He's not at the level of Hogan. He's not at the level of Austin.
No.
He's
And
not
he's
at the
more
level
a
of
Bob
Rock.
Backlund, to be honest.
Almost.
That's
I think
my
he's better than that, because Backlund was very unpopular as well at the time.
But Backlund got by.
He got by,
Cena
but I think
sounds
Cena
like
does a
Bailey
little
got
bit.
back.
I think Cena does more than just get by.
There's a great article, I'll send it to you, by Andrew Goldstein, who used to work for WWE, and he made a great argument about how John Cena's run was like the Backlund run after Billy Graham, where it was
Kinda.
like those
Yeah.
5 years were just waiting for the next top guy.
Yeah, basically. I think
We're
I'd
still
probably,
waiting.
if I had to pick, I'd probably go with Bruno, the same
Right.
as you as the fourth guy.
You really want to finish this, don't you?
I'm just worried for Sam because he's gonna be.
You're
gonna
just
be
giving him
cut
more
this
work now
down.
behind
Right.
this.
Come on,
No, you leave that in.
fourth wall shattering here.
Right. Well, thank you very much, guys, for joining in with the questions that you most want answered. I'm getting the hang of this, aren't I? Do you want to wrap up because you're better at that? Go on.
So thank you for watching or listening.
Plug the magazine.
I was about to do it.
Okay.
Remember to go onto our Twitter page and you can get the link to go and buy or pre-order, a copy of our brand new magazine, What Culture Wrestling. It has got articles from guys like Shane Douglas, Jim Cornette, Mr. Dixon, Mr. Jobber, Mr. McIntosh. It's available for £10 quarterly magazine. It is 140 pages of glossy wrestling goodness, and it is well worth the price of your admission.
And a top 100 greatest WWE matches.
Top 100 greatest
of
WWE
all
matches.
time.
And a Daniel Bryan career retrospective.
There's
Daniel
loads of
Bryan
stuff.
through that
Full
retrospective.
colour, unique art. It's amazing.
It is, and not that you had enough to do with it to say it's amazing, but it is amazing nonetheless. So yeah, get Jack on Twitter at Jack_the_jobber.
If you need
get,
his address, just hit me up and I'll pass it over to you.
get Dixon online.
Don't
if
get,
you can
don't,
find
don't
him.
get me online.
You can't find
I'll
him.
block you and ignore you.
And you can get me at Kenny MC 1985. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next week with more, and enjoy Payback.
WhatCulture.com are releasing a new magazine about wrestling, and it's called Wrestling. It'll have 140 pages of timeless wrestling content, including a brand new How WWE Should Have Booked written by this virulent son of a bitch. It will also have a list of the 100 best wrestling matches of all time compiled by WhatCulture staff and wrestling insiders. So the magazine is available to pre-order now. Follow the link in the description and enjoy WhatCulture.com's Wrestling.